Picture this. You just bought your dream home in a quiet suburb of Asheville, North Carolina, in the spring of 2024. No homeowners association to breathe down your neck, just a sprawling backyard perfect for summer cookouts. You're ready to live your best life, grilling burgers and sipping lemonade. But then, the neighborhood watchdogs start circling, slapping you with fines and threats over your backyard parties. They pushed too far, and I pushed back in a way they'll never forget. Let me take you through the wild ride of how I turned the tables on a power-hungry HOA and became the talk of the town. I'm Ethan, and about a year ago, I settled into a cozy house on Maplewood Lane. After years of cramped apartments, I was done with shared walls and nosy landlords. I hunted for months, visiting countless homes, but this one stole my heart. It wasn't the fanciest, but that backyard, a wide, green oasis screaming for barbecues and bonfires. Best of all, it was free from the clutches of the local HOA, a deal-breaker for me. I'd heard horror stories about HOA spetty rules, outrageous fines, and endless meddling. No way was I signing up for that. I didn't just trust the realtor's word, either. I had it in writing, double-checked with the previous owner, a laid-back guy named Tom, who was practically a legend. Tom warned me to steer clear of the HOA, sharing how they'd hounded him for years to join, offering everything from welcome baskets to veiled threats. He never budged. I swore I wouldn't either. At first, things seemed normal. Neighbors waved, kids rode bikes, and life felt idyllic. Then the HOA board introduced themselves smiling, but with an edge. They pitched their amazing community park, a selling point to lure me into joining. I politely declined, and their smiles faltered. Suddenly, I was the odd man out. Board members, led by a woman I'll call Vivian Think's suburban dictator with a clipboard, started muttering about community unity whenever I was around. They'd linger near my property, eyeing my lawn like it was a crime scene. One day, a letter arrived, scolding me for leaving my trash cans out too long. I wasn't even in their HOA. I grabbed a marker, scribbled "not a member" in bold red, and taped it to the cans. Petty? Maybe. Satisfying? Absolutely. For months, the HOA's tactics escalated from passive-aggressive to outright hostile. They sent friendly reminders about their rules, then not-so-subtle hints about liability if I didn't join. Vivian's crew made it clear I wasn't welcome at their precious park, a bland patch of grass with a few benches and grills. I didn't care I had my backyard. But when summer rolled in, with perfect 80-degree days and cool evenings, things got heated. I fired up my new smoker, invited friends over, and hosted a chill barbecue. Good food, soft music, and lawn chairs under the stars. My non-HOA neighbors even joined, thanking me for the vibe. It was everything I dreamed of when I bought the place. Then the HOA smelled the smoke literally. The next day, a letter arrived, no return address, but stamped with their self-important logo. It claimed my unauthorized gathering, violated neighborhood harmony, and demanded I register future barbecues at their park. I laughed, tossed it in the trash, and planned another party for my sister's birthday. Balloons, cornhole, cupcakes, the works. Halfway through, Vivian and her posse appeared on the sidewalk, glaring like they were auditioning for a villain role. Then, unbelievably, they called the cops. 2 squad cars rolled up, lights flashing for a non-emergency. The officer was polite, checked my ID, and asked about noise complaints. I explained I wasn't in the HOA and wasn't breaking any laws. He apologized and left. Vivian fumed from the street, and that night, another letter arrived, ranting about unofficial barbecues and threatening enforcement. I was done playing nice. Every time I grilled, the HOA retaliated. They sent letters, left voicemails, even called the cops again. The officers started joking about my infamous parties, but I wasn't laughing. I saved every letter, recorded every glare on my doorbell cam, and fumed when they slapped me with a $200 non-member compliance fine. A fine for not being in their club? Vivian had lost it. I wasn't just annoyed, I was ready for war. Mess with my barbecue, and you're messing with my soul. I decided to confront them at their next meeting, held at the community parks pavilion. Binder in hand, packed with their letters, the fake fine, and police reports, I marched in. Vivian's jaw dropped, and the crowd murmured. Before she could speak, I laid into them. I'm not here to join. I'm here to tell you to stop harassing me. My property isn't yours. I owe you nothing. Keep sending threats, and my lawyer will handle it. Vivian sputtered, claiming I was disrupting the neighborhood with smoke and noise. I shot back. The only resource I'm using is my backyard. Your cult won't get me. As I turned to leave, she yelled, Keep this up, and we'll put a lien on your house. The crowd gasped. I spun around, promising she'd regret that threat, and walked out, adrenaline pumping. Vivian had no idea who she was dealing with. I called a real estate attorney, Sarah, who confirmed the HOA had no legal ground. She suggested suing for harassment, but I wanted more than a courtroom win. I wanted revenge. Then, a neighbor casually mentioned the HOA didn't own the park they rented it. My ears perked up. After digging through public records and making calls, I found the owner, a developer named Greg. Over coffee, he revealed the HOA leased the land month to month, too cheap to buy it despite his offers. I asked if he'd sell. He was all in. With savings and a loan, I could afford it. Spite fueled me, and we struck a deal. Greg notified the HOA their lease was done, and I'd bought the land. They'd have to check county records to know it was me. The day the lease expired, I was up at dawn, changing every lock on the park's gates. I posted signs, private property, no trespassing, and notices stating the land was no longer HOA affiliated. From my porch, I watched the chaos unfold. Morning joggers stopped, stunned. A woman in a tracksuit stared at the sign, then tried the gate, as if rage would unlock it. By noon, SUVs lined the street, neighbors snapping photos and yelling theories. Vivian and her board finally showed up, with a lawyer in tow, promising to fix it. She marched to my door, accusing me of stealing their park. I handed her a folder with the deed and said, I own it now. The HOA's banned. Her face turned purple, but she left defeated. The fallout was glorious. The HOA's summer events fireworks, movie nights, picnics were canceled. Residents revolted, demanding refunds for dues. A petition to dissolve the HOA gained steam, fueled by emails proving the board's negligence. They'd rejected Greg's offers to sell for years, assuming their lease was untouchable. At an emergency meeting, Vivian blamed everyone but herself, even hinting at squatters' rights. The crowd wasn't buying it. Neighbors who once shunned me now apologized, seeing the HOA's true colors. When the vote came, 80% dissolved the HOA. Vivian sent a pathetic farewell email, and some board members moved away, unable to face the backlash. I kept the park, turning it into a true community space. No rules, no fines, just a clean, open area for kids to play and families to gather. I hired a local team to maintain it and let respectful neighbors use it freely. Barbecues returned bigger and better, with potlucks and volleyball games. The park became a symbol of freedom, proof that power only lasts if people tolerate it. I'm still the owner, quietly ensuring it stays a place for everyone, not a tool for control. But here's where it gets messy. Did I go too far buying the park? Should I give it back to the county, risking new rules, or keep it as is? Could the HOA have claimed squatters' rights, or was Vivian delusional? And if you were me, would you have fought dirty or let the harassment slide? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button, and subscribe for more stories. I want to hear how you'd handle these neighborhood tyrants.